Why does my camera do that? Out a bit more. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is the first part series number 1 video of my solo adventure. I'm going to tell you in detail what I did, where I went, how much things were, what I loved, what I hated. I'm just going to tell you everything. Let me just move this light a bit. And first I'm going to put these on so I can read. Oh, I look like a potato again. So today is like part 1 of what I did on my solo adventure. If you haven't seen the first video and you want to know a little bit more about what it's about, and that I wasn't really on my own, but technically I was, feel free to go and check that out. There'll be like a little bubble that comes up here somewhere. Click on that, or there'll be a link in the description below. On my adventures we travelled to 3 countries, and my first country was France. So we all met up in London, and this part was the most nerve-wracking part for me. I got on the train, it's about 40 minutes from where I live into London, and I went straight to St Pancras. I don't know how you actually say that, but St Pancras, whatever. We had to meet in a cafe. I arrived so early. I don't know why I arrived so early. I was mooching around the train station, I grabbed something to eat, got myself a coffee, and I just sat down and I just people watched. And it was a really nice time because I love doing that. Took a few Instagram stories, and then once I started seeing people nearer the cafe sort of gather around with their like mini suitcases and big rucksacks, I was like, you're coming on the trip with me. Oh. Our CEO didn't arrive until dead on time. Like, it was 5 o'clock was meeting, and then she just turned up at 5 o'clock. She was really, really lovely, absolutely amazing CEO. She's actually part of the G Adventures tour. From there we got the Eurostar into Paris, and we checked into our hostel quite late at night. And the hostel we stayed in was called Generator, or I don't know if it's pronounced something different in French. Please excuse my pronunciation, I probably will not get it correct. Yeah, so we stayed in the Generator, and I stayed in the room with the most people in it. I stayed and shared with 6 other lovely people. They were all girls. We had separate dormitories for males and females. I met girls from around the world. The Generator itself as a hostel, like the room, just felt like a hotel, but you were sharing with 6 other people, if that made sense. There was these really nice bunk beds, and in the bunk bed you had your own little light, and you had 2 plugs. You had one normal plug and one which was like USB. Brilliant, charged my phone, very nice and simple. And you had like a little shelf, and you had like a little pocket to put bits in. Anyway, so like the next morning, breakfast was included throughout all of my trip. It's just like a hotel breakfast basically, but French. So obviously you had your croissants and your toast and, pardon me. We all like met together on our first day, and we went for an orientational walk. And she basically showed us the little area around near a hostel. If we wanted to go off later, we knew how to get back. So she gave us all a map. Ta-da! She very kindly circled points of interest. Well, she put a little H on the map for where our hostel was. Here, hostel, and the closest metro station that she circled. Nearby there were also like mini shops, like supermarkets, restaurants. There's an ATM, and then obviously the metro. She went down and got us our first like metro tickets for us. Now let me just say this, okay, because when she gave us our metro tickets, I was like, I'm gonna lose that, but that's gonna go missing. This is a train ticket in the UK that got me to London. The metro tickets in France was this. Look how little it is. When she showed us this, I was literally like, I'm going to lose that. I don't want to be faffing about my purse trying to find a little bit of paper. I actually kept this. I was wearing like just a plain t-shirt with a jacket, and I just kept it in my bra. So every time we went to the metro, I'd just whip it out, put it through, get it back, put it back in. I just thought it was there. I knew it was there all day. I wasn't going to lose it. So yeah, that's where I kept that. But when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, that's so small. A metro ticket when I went was €7.50, and that's about £7, which isn't that bad. That metro would get you, oh, I don't know how I'm going to hold this. I need an assistant, and it literally would get you the whole way round Paris. First things first, we went and saw the Oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce this in French, so please do excuse me. I'm actually going to get Siri to pronounce it for me because I'm that bad. It's a Roman Catholic church. I'm going to try and say it. The Sacré-Cœur. This is what it's actually called.
Sacré-Cœur.
Sacré-Cœur. Am I saying that wrong? I don't know. My pronunciation is not that good. When you saw it, walking up to it, it was like this beautiful white masterpiece, and you walked up the stairs. There are quite a few stairs, but there is also a lift if you're unable to walk upstairs or heights. Yeah, so we walked all the way out the top, and once you're at the top you have this like lovely breathtaking view. On a really nice day you could see very, very far, but in the distance you could see this black tower that didn't look very nice, but that black tower was called the Tour Montparnasse. Let me just get Siri to say that correct.
Tour Montparnasse.
Okay, I said that totally wrong. And from that you could go right up to the top and you can see a view of Paris with the Eiffel Tower. Because the CEO said, why would you go up the Eiffel Tower and see Paris, but at the top of the Eiffel Tower you won't have the Eiffel Tower in your view? Which made a lot of sense, as she recommended going to the top of this tower and seeing Paris with the Eiffel Tower in sight. I didn't actually do that, the only reason because I wanted to see and do other things, and the price put me off a little bit, and it was about 18 euros, and I think that's quite expensive. Obviously yes, you're going to go up very, very high, but it wasn't all that, I don't think. Anyway, from the Catholic church, we're all still together. We got the metro to see the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and yes, I can pronounce that correctly because I loved watching the Disney movie. That was actually really, really nice to see. I'm glad I saw that. So the Notre Dame Cathedral is actually known as one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture, and I was amazed when I saw this. We didn't go inside. I didn't particularly want to go inside. There was a massive queue. Above the three doors there was these really nicely decorated like arches, but on the left hand side there was one which looked like it hadn't been finished and it was made into a point. In actual fact it was finished, but they didn't make it perfect, because in their eyes nothing is perfect but God, and that's what our CEO told us. And I was literally like, oh, I don't know, it fascinated me quite a bit actually. I was quite interested in that. So from the Notre Dame Cathedral here, you see this? From there we basically walked along the Seine River. We walked along there, and what looked like flood barriers was actually hidden stalls, and basically these stalls opened up. They were like little shops along the river which sold like paintings, books, key rings, the touristy stuff. But what my CEO said was these stalls are actually passed down in generations, so you couldn't buy a stall and sell what you wanted there. You could only get one if it was passed down in your family, which was really, really interesting, because when we was walking along I was like, oh, this would be a really nice job, just like standing here in the sun in the middle of Paris next to the river. It would be a lovely little thing to do. And then walking along the river we got to the bridge, which is the Pont des Arts. I know this as the padlock bridge, which is where everyone would padlock their love onto the bridge and then throw the key into the river. It was a touristy thing to do, a tourist tradition. The bridge back in 2015 actually got that heavy they had to remove all the padlocks, unfortunately, and they've changed it to glass instead of chains now, which no one can clip their padlocks onto. I did notice on the lamppost that people were sneakily padlocking their love seal around the lampposts. One side of the bridge you see this like magnificent building, which is the famous Arts Museum, which is where the Mona Lisa actually is. And I say actually is because my CEO said it's not the actual Mona Lisa painting, it's a replica. So if you do go, or if you are planning to go and see that, it's not the real one, unfortunately. Sorry to break your heart. We walked through this like a little building underneath the archways, and there is the Louvre Museum, which is where you see the glass pyramids. They were what I was expecting, basically, of what I've seen all over Instagram. I really wanted to get a photo of me pinching the top of that pyramid, and I did. One of the girls on the trip helped me get the shot, but she was taking my photo and this man approached her and said, can I take her photo? And he had a camera, big like, Canon camera around his neck, and I was like, oh yes, you are going to get that shot. And he took the shot, he got the shot, I will put it here, he got it, and I haven't yet put this on Instagram because it needs a little bit of editing. Yes, I got that shot. Thank you to that lovely man who took that photo. From there, we all met up again. We got to like be let off our leashes. We wasn't like tied with our CEO all the time. You had the option whether you wanted to do your orientational walk or go off and do your own thing. But I think being our first day, no one really knew each other. We all just stayed in a room together. Why not get to know each other and go for a walk around Paris? How lovely. So from there, we walked to the Eiffel Tower, and there we had our picnic, which was really nice. We all sort of like got to know each other a bit more. We tried to find a spot in the shade because you wouldn't believe it, it's September. It was warm, but I could feel my forehead burning. If you want to see a video of me going up the Eiffel Tower, which I surprised my parents, I took them to Paris for Mother's Day and we got up the Eiffel Tower then. So if you want to see that, click on the link up here, or there's a link in the description below. From the Eiffel Tower, I really wanted to go and see the Arc de Triomphe. Let me just get Siri to say that for me.
Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe? I said that completely wrong, didn't I?
Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe. And this arc, oh my goodness, the arc itself was amazing. It had loads of like sculptures on it, really well detailed, was lovely. To get to it, you have to go under like a subway to get onto it, because it's basically on the middle of a very large roundabout. And our CEO said to us before we went there, she said, the roundabout that the Arc de Triomphe is on, I said that quite well actually, very proud of myself. If you hire a car in France, the one place you will not be insured on is that roundabout surrounding the Arc de Triomphe. Basically, it didn't have lanes and from above, it was a mess. You get tourist buses, you get the big city buses, you get the taxis, you get the locals, you get people hiring the cars going round this roundabout, obviously to see this magnificent arc. And people want to see it, but they're going to be looking at it and not concentrating on where they're going, and it's a roundabout. It doesn't have lanes. There's going to be accidents. So if you hire a car in Paris, France, do not go there because you will not be insured. I recommend parking up, having a little walk over and seeing it so you can take it all in instead of just looking out of your car window. We sort of, wait, let me show you on my little map here. So from the Eiffel Tower, which is here, we got the metro to the Arc de Triomphe, and from there we walked down the Avenue des Champs-Élysées, not saying that correctly, and at the end of this very long high street with all the fancy shops, there's a McDonald's there if you need a wee, probably best place to go, is the, what's it called? Let me just get Siri to say this again. I'm learning this. I'm learning how to pronounce things, which is good, which is lovely.
L'Obélisque.
L'Obélisque. This, at the end of this avenue, was what interests me the most. And if you don't know me, I have an obsession or fascination. I just love anything to do with Egypt. The Egyptians, they fascinate me. Sorry, my camera just cut out there. Not sure what happened there. This obelisk is actually from ancient Egypt, and it was originally standing in the entrance to the Luxor temple. If I can find an image, I will put one here. But to the entrance of the Luxor temple, there are two. They are meant to be two obelisks. It's basically a stone pillar, and one is still standing there, but the other one is obviously in Paris, and the one that's standing in Paris is actually the smaller one. The one that's currently standing in Egypt is the taller one. But you wouldn't know if they were standing side by side because they have the illusion to look the same height, which is just a little interesting fact there. From that, I think we just went back to the hostel, freshened up. We actually all went out for a first dinner together. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but I need to recommend this restaurant because the food there was amazing. My dessert, oh my goodness, I didn't know what an ice nugget was, and when it came out, it was the nicest thing I've ever eaten. oh, I don't know how to describe it. It was like this mousse, and it had a rich raspberry sauce. It was so nice. I think most of us decided that we wanted to go and see the Eiffel Tower lit up at night. When we got there, I totally forgot the Eiffel Tower did this, but it sparkles. It sparkles every hour on the hour for 5 minutes. We was approaching it, and in the video you can see us like, oh, wow, oh my god, it's sparkling. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The next day I had a better breakfast because I found the cereal. I don't really like cooked breakfasts. I prefer like croissant and your cereal and a nice cup of coffee. I went to go and see, so our hostel is here, and on the second day we went to the Cimetière Père Lachaise Cemetery, which is the first garden cemetery and is actually the largest one in Paris. Obviously there's a few more cemeteries, but this one is the largest. And if you do go there, there are a few famous people buried there. You will be amazed by the size of the tombstones. They were huge, and they were very, very packed in. The one that fascinated me the most, I've already mentioned that I'm obsessed with Egypt. There was a tombstone in the shape of a pyramid, and I poked my head in. This tombstone not only went in and up, it went in and down. Oh my god, it was huge, and you could hear yourself talking and echoing. That's how big this tombstone was. It was huge, and if I can find a photo I'm going to put it up because I don't think I filmed that. From the Père Lachaise Cemetery, I wanted to go and see the Moulin Rouge. The metro station outside the Moulin Rouge literally is outside the Moulin Rouge. You come out of the station, up the stairs, and it's there. Like, the Moulin Rouge, you cannot miss it. After that, I sort of just chilled around Paris, to be honest. Walked around, enjoyed the scenery, and just tried to take it all in that, oh my god, I'm in Paris on my own. Wow. I definitely recommend staying in the Generator Hostel. It literally just felt like a Premier Inn at home. Very comfortable, very safe. I am going to say what I hated about Paris. Okay, this involves a little bit more of explanation here. When we went to go and see the Eiffel Tower at night, and we saw it sparkling and it was lovely, once it stopped sparkling, you just had like the backlight of the Eiffel Tower, and you had like the field in front of you, and all you could see once it stopped sparkling was these little silhouettes running around, and these silhouettes were rats. There were rats everywhere. Probably because it is a tourist attraction. People eat, people drink in front of the Eiffel Tower like we did. We had a picnic. People drop crumbs and they drop litter. It's gonna attract rats, obviously. But I'm telling you, there were quite a few. The other thing I didn't like in Paris was the amount of people trying to sell you souvenirs. Especially when you went to go and see the Eiffel Tower at night. You don't get harassed by them, but they are everywhere. They're walking up to the Eiffel Tower, they're along the path. Next to the Eiffel Tower in front of the green, they're all along there, and they come up to you and they want to sell you not only their souvenirs, but they try and sell you bottles of wine, bottles of beer, and they did even offer us drunks. So I recommend, if you're gonna go out and see the Eiffel Tower at night, or go out at night in Paris on your own, I would take someone with you. That put me off a little bit, but I could definitely say that I could get myself to Paris, have a day trip and come home on my own. I wouldn't stay there or go out at night on my own. So I hope you've enjoyed part 1 of my trip. My next video is going to be on Switzerland, and I have to say this was my favourite place that I visited on my solo adventure. Please give this video a thumbs up, a like, subscribe if you want to follow my next adventures, and subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss my next video about Switzerland, because I can tell you this place was beautiful. Bye!